Also tonight, more turmoil for CBS News after a top correspondent for 60 Minutes apparently accused the network's editor-in-chief of, I'm quoting here, of murdering the show during a staff meeting today. According to a source in the room, Scott Pelley said that editor-in-chief Bari Weiss was brought in to kill 60 Minutes and is doing exactly that. Pelley also blasted the show's new EP, executive producer, telling Nick Bilton he thinks he has slender qualifications for the job. Pelley and reps for CBS did not immediately return our request for comment, but that's as a bunch of network's journalists wrote a letter to Paramount's CEO today, urging him to send a clear message to staff, viewers, and the public that David Ellison respects editorial independence and press freedom. Chloe Melas is joining us now. And lest people think we're doing some sort of navel-gazing media segment, listen, 60 Minutes gets big numbers. They are I think the top-rated news broadcast in the country consistently. They rank right up there with live sports events for things that people watch on Sunday nights. And this meeting has real drama, apparently. There was a face-to-face confrontation. The boss left after 15 minutes. It was very it was spicy.
Hallie, it almost sounds like an episode ripped straight from the script of Succession. So you have Nick Bilton, who was appointed last week as the executive producer of 60 Minutes, having this meeting with staffers. And in that meeting, NBC News actually spoke to somebody who attended that meeting today, and they wanted their name to be kept anonymous for obvious reasons. But they said that Nick Bilton was really confronted by Scott Pelley, who has been a veteran journalist for decades, and he's been with 60 Minutes for 22 years. In this meeting, he supposedly confronted Bilton over the firings of those correspondents that you mentioned, as well as the executive editor of the show, who had actually been named the EP of the show last year temporarily. And in this meeting, he allegedly said that Bari Weiss, who is the CBS News editor-in-chief, was, quote, murdering the venerable news magazine. And in this, he allegedly, Pelley interrupted and said, she is murdering 60 Minutes. She does not love this place. She was brought in to kill it, and she has been doing exactly that. Bari Weiss was not in the room, Hallie, but NBC News, we've reached out to CBS for comment, as well as Scott Pelley, but clearly things got heated. But I just want to point out that before the meeting ended, Bilton, who remained cool, according to our source, during the entire meeting, said, and he looked straight ahead, this source says, he said, enjoy the bagels before he left the room. I guess there were bagels in the room.
Is that a euphemism, or was that, okay, he meant the actual breakfast
real bagels in that meeting, Hallie. Yeah.
There's a piece of this, Chloe, that we've got to pull on the thread of, which I think is obvious but worth repeating here, which is the political overlay to this, right? I mean, President Trump has been frustrated with 60 Minutes in the past. He has posted, multiple Truth Socials over the course of multiple years, frustrated with the coverage that he feels like he's getting on 60 Minutes. That dynamic has also been called into question by some who are upset by what they think and what they see Bari Weiss doing here.
Right. So let's just talk about the fact that David Ellison, who runs CBS, he runs Paramount Skydance, and he's in the middle of this merger with Warner Brothers Discovery. His father, Larry Ellison, is one of Trump's biggest and most lucrative supporters. And so many people feel as though he put in Bari Weiss to run CBS News because he was trying to curry favor with President Trump. There is no evidence from NBC News that has happened, but you've seen how Stephen Colbert is no longer having his late show at CBS. Many people feel as though that had political implications there, which CBS said was only a financial decision. But again, a lot of questions as to what is going on within CBS News and the broader company as a whole, Hallie.
Chloe Melas, thank you very much for watching it all. We'll see how this one goes. Appreciate it.
We thank you for watching. And remember, stay updated on breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or watch live on our YouTube channel.